This is the Happy Hour.
And a half hour?
Coming at you live from the Lincoln America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. Rico, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. Went to some
Anything
gymnastics yesterday.
That's right. I saw you took Ellie.
Yes.
How'd she like it?
She loved it. We didn't stay that long because we were sitting there. It was honestly after the first rotation. So after, I don't remember what they're called. After they got done with their first events.
Was it beam?
No, they weren't on beam. Nebraska wasn't on beam first.
Okay.
I was on the uneven bars. Nebraska was on the where they run down and then they jump over the thing.
When I went on BTN to watch it last night at 8 p.m. They were on beam at the time, but it was pretty close after.
Yeah, I think that might have been. I don't know what they went
started
on second, but no. So we left after the first. We left after the first rotation because Ellie turned it. Vault. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Because Ellie turned to me and she goes, "I'm tired." I was like,
okay.
Oh. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it was super late. Normally she's getting ready for bed around that time. So it was just a special treat for her. And she got tired. So we ended up going home and she passed out like pretty shortly after we got home. So
was KJ asleep?
KJ was asleep by the time I got home, but it was fun. She really
Rachel.
enjoyed it. She got some pom-poms. We got another poster to hang up in her room.
Perfect.
So it's great. She was asking about gymnastics again. We saw the little kids in the gymnastics practice area. They were doing their thing. And she turns to me and she goes, "Can I do that?" And I was like, maybe. Maybe. Don't know yet.
A lot of money.
We'll see what happens.
No, I mean, that's awesome. 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, the starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. Plenty of stuff to get to. Once again, just to kind of plug and let you know what's going on, at least on our show the rest of the week. We'll have Nate Rohr, the voice of Husker softball, on the show tomorrow at 1:30. Then Thursday, Husker pitcher Kyle Perry. Now, KP's used to being in a starting role this year, a little bit different. And so we'll talk to him about that on Thursday, and then we'll talk more Husker baseball with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald on Friday. So we'll talk to
Kyle Perry about his Jimmy John surgery.
That's right. He's had two
Jimmy Johns.
Two Jimmy Johns.
Great sandwiches.
But no. In all seriousness, two Tommy John surgeries, and you're always curious how somebody bounces back from one. But now Kyle's in kind of a peculiar and unique spot with having two Tommy John surgeries. And so we'll talk to him about the team. And if you missed any of DP and Jay's conversation with Lance Harvell yesterday, I know they filled in some of the questions and answered some of the questions that Husker fans might have about the upcoming season in terms of, starting rotation. So make sure you head back to the podcast page of the Ticket FM for all that information. Okay. So let's go ahead and start here, because this is an interesting topic that, Rico, when I caught myself kind of laughing out loud a little bit when I read this. Scott Docterman, who covers Iowa football for The Athletic, tweeted out yesterday at 3:25 p.m. Iowa announces amendments to Brian Ferentz's employment. Brian Ferentz, the offensive coordinator, obviously. Mm-hmm. His salary of $850,000 will be down from, he was getting paid $900,000 in 2022. So now this season takes a $50,000 pay cut. Now, here's what's more.
You imagine taking a $50,000 pay cut and still making that much money.
Still making that much money. Now, what's more interesting for Brian Ferentz, designated performance objectives for this upcoming season in 2023 include an average of at least 25 points per game and a minimum of 7 wins. Now, there's a lot of avenues that we can go down to have a conversation off of this. But for an easy comparison for Nebraska fans listening, it's like what Trev Alberts and Scott, I mean, we had to kind of go through with Scott Frost prior to the 2022 season. When Trev Alberts said on one of his shows that, hey, Scott and I have had conversations. We've mutually agreed upon metrics. We have those in place. We're ready to go. These are basically mutually agreed upon metrics, except these have now been released publicly. And you'll remember that prior to the year, prior to Scott Frost getting fired as well, we didn't know what they were. We speculated, oh, it's probably 6 wins. It's probably this, how, all these minor details. That's all in the past. Now, looking forward with Iowa, think about it this way. It's going to be funny. And I think a lot of people, just to make this whole Iowa situation even more hilarious, is it'd be great if we found ourselves at the end of the year and Iowa achieves 8 wins, but only averages 22 points per game on offense,
which is what Nebraska averaged last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was like
22.
It was like 22-7.
So, because then it's like that's where I remember having these conversations on the air when Trev Alberts announced that there was mutually agreed upon metrics. Was like, do you decide to release these because then now everybody knows the details? Everybody knows that, if Scott Frost doesn't win 6 games, what if he wins 5 games, but he looks good and that one loss came to a top 5 team?
And what then if you're not talking about your mutually agreed upon metrics, because it's just like you don't really have to release them ever because you don't want to. If he wins 5 games and they look pretty good in a couple of those games, you're just like, what? Maybe this could work. You keep those metrics a secret. But now Iowa, they were like, screw it. Hey, everybody, this is what has to happen.
Now they could have taken the road of basically how Nebraska did, and other programs obviously agree on details every year. And there's, obviously agreed. I hate using the agreed upon metrics, but that's kind of the only terminology I could think of. But it's basically ties the hands of Iowa's athletic department and Gary Barta, the athletic director, because once again, if Iowa was to find themselves in a situation, I mean, just even at the top end of the spectrum, if they're Big Ten West champions, but only averaging 24 points per game, which we wouldn't be surprised with because the Big Ten West is probably going to be down a little bit. And if they're able to beat either Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, whatever it is, 2 of 3 of those teams, they could find themselves with a strong defense averaging 24 points, but you won 9 games. Crap, Brian Ferentz didn't meet his mutually and now publicly known metrics,
and that's
for the season to keep his job for 2024.
But that's where you kind of run into some issues, because if that happens, if they win the Big Ten West title and they're in the Big Ten championship game and they're only averaging 22 points a game, let's just put it at 22. They're averaging 22 points a game, but they win 9 games and they're in the Big Ten championship game. Do you still? I understand that you put these metrics out there saying that this is what he has to do to keep his job, but do you still fire him? I understand he's in charge of the offense. The offense has to score more points. But obviously the offense did, and we kind of discussed this in the break, the offense did enough for you to win those games. But also it could be looked at as the defense won you those games and the offense didn't get in the way. So it's one of those things where, yeah, sure, you put these out there so everybody knows, but then you're going to put yourself in a bind if you reach one of those metrics, but not the other. And really the only bind you could find yourself in is if you reach the win total and you surpass that, but your offense doesn't perform at the level of 25 points per game. If your offense is scoring 28 and you only win 5 games, I don't, that's a weird one, because his offense did a good job. His offense surpassed what you thought or what you set as a metric for him to reach, but the team let you down in only winning 5 games. So does he get fired for the lackluster team, or does he just get fired for a lackluster offense? That's the only issue I see with publicizing the metrics that you and your offensive coordinator agree on. Whereas if you keep it a secret, maybe at the end of the season, you keep one of those back, you throw the other one out there, the one that you didn't reach, and it's like, this is what we agreed upon. You didn't reach it. You're gone. And then you keep it a secret that, they had to win 6 games. They won more, but the offense wasn't that good. So we're just going to keep that one to ourselves.
So somebody asked, does it say you're fired if a name texter asked, does it say you're fired if you don't reach the goals? Brian Ferentz's contract is up at the end of the season. So
it will not be renewed.
It's basically not fired, but it wouldn't be renewed. The official announcement from the Gary Barta, the athletic director, Gary Barta for Iowa, said University of Iowa offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Brian Ferentz has signed an amended contract for the 2023 season. The contract amendments include a salary of $850,000 effective February 1st, 2023, and the designated performance objectives for the 2023 season include an average of at least 25 points per game and a minimum of 7 wins, including regular season and a possible bowl game.
If they
hold on,
sorry,
see, that's okay. To put things into context and perspective, 85 Division I football teams scored at least or averaged at least 25 points per game last season. He lost Brian Ferentz's original contract, went through the 2024 season, but with this amendment, it now goes just through the 2023 season. If he makes it past 2023, he will get a new 2-year contract that will go through 2025 and also a raise. So, now here's what's crazy. They also released the bonus that he'll get if he reaches these designated performance objectives.
Is it just the rest of his salary?
If Iowa averages 25 points per game and goes, for example, 7-6, Brian Ferentz will get a $112,500 bonus. So a little bit more than his initial salary or original salary.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So to answer your question, he just would not get his contract extended, which then, I mean, like Austin and I were talking about it. What does that do to Iowa? Because it's like, I remember when I used to board out for DP show, he would have this song, The Family Affair. And I don't remember what it's from, but I remember how that song goes in my head. And that's all I can think of when I hear Iowa football, because you have Kirk and Brian,
such a family environment.
And you wonder what's going to happen if Kirk Ferentz were to leave while Brian was still there. Brian Ferentz is not there anymore.
Brian's not coming back.
If Brian Ferentz leaves, what does that do with Kirk Ferentz?
Kirk's still there. Kirk's not leaving.
I'm not saying he leaves for a new job. Does he retire? Does he just say he's over?
No, I'm not saying like for a new job. He's not leaving. He'll leave when he's ready to leave. And just because his Brian, maybe he's just like, look, son, you should have done better. But at the same time, he's not making any staff changes or really holding him accountable.
That's
now
what
this
I'm
is
saying.
the AD holding him accountable. So, I mean,
like, it's obvious. No, and the reason I say that, or even bring up that thought, is because at some point, Kirk is going to either have to make a decision. I mean, he's had to make decisions over the last couple of years when Iowa's offense has been terrible,
awful,
that whether or not to fire his son or find him a new job, right? Because there was rumblings and rumors of him potentially going back to the NFL after this last season as an assistant.
Get promoted.
Yeah, I suppose so. But and that it wouldn't be like a fire. It'd be, hey, Brian Ferentz leaves for a job with Nick Patriots or whatever. Bingo.
It'd be a Nick Saban firing.
Exactly.
As you so eloquently put it.
Yeah. So I just find it fascinating. The more interesting part for me is that they released the metrics, because it really, because not that there's like goals or incentives, because there needs to be for every contract, and there is for every contract with every coach.
But it's actually putting it out there.
But to put it out there is a bold move. And somebody said on the text line, I can't remember, Thomas and Lincoln, I think Iowa wants him fired, and that's why they released the metrics.
That's my guess.
That could be, but it ties your hands really tight at the end of the season, and all eyes are then on Gary Barta. Plus, that's a conversation throughout the entire year.
That's an awkward conversation. And so I have two things. First, if they average exactly 25, that is what Arkansas State averaged last year.
Yep.
Right above them, I'll name the 3 teams above them: Rice, Southern Miss, New Mexico State.
Rice.
That would be averaging 25 points a game. Again, Nebraska averaged 22.7, so they're not in the top 100. They're like 102 or something. And secondly, with these metrics released and all of this, as an Iowa fan, and I asked this in the water cooler, I'll ask it again. If you know any Iowa football fans, ask them, are you rooting for like just one bad year for Iowa football? Like you don't reach the 7 wins and you don't average 25 just so you can get rid of Brian Ferentz? Or are you asking for, a good year or, an average year for Iowa where you're winning, 7-8 games, but maybe your offense is still terrible? Like that's a weird situation to put your fan base in, because obviously you want your team to be successful, but they have just been tired of Brian Ferentz for so long, and they've been stuck with Brian Ferentz for so long as their offensive coordinator, where what's one bad season if we're rid of this and maybe we get somebody who's actually competent at their job?
So here's what's crazy. Now, obviously there was fewer games. Iowa, so I'm looking through college football stats right now, the averages, the scoring offense, excuse me, for the last couple of years. So Iowa averaged, what did they average last year? You said, Rico?
I gotta find it again. It was very bad.
It was it was 20. It was low 20s, correct?
Yeah, I have to go back. Give me a second.
Iowa, here we go. Oh, just kidding. Iowa averaged 17.7 points per game.
17.7.
Last season,
right above Rutgers.
Last season, 2 seasons ago rather, Iowa was 99th in the country with 23.4 points per game. 2020 was the COVID year. They actually averaged.
What was last year's? 23 point what?
23.4.
That would have put them at 100th this last year.
And they were 99th in that year. 2020, they were actually in the top 75, but remember, they had only 6 games that year.
What'd they average?
Like 29.3.
Oh, okay. I actually have to go up here.
Yeah, go up a little bit.
Oh, they're in the top 60.
Yeah.
Last year.
And
59th.
Let's see. At least according to, once again, college football stats, in 2019, they were outside. They were worse than 130th. So that's what's interesting here. Now, there's more variables involved as well. What does it look like with Cade McNamara? Cade McNamara said something along the lines of, like, I always find it funny when people make fun of our offense and think we're a boring offense, because that's not what it's going to be like.
Well, it wasn't your offense.
It wasn't your offense.
Yeah, that was the offense before.
So I don't
Nobody's
know.
making fun of your offense.
Does Cade McNamara instantly make this offense?
And Eric All?
Yeah, that's right, from Michigan as well, to another tight end. So I don't know. We'll find out. But I thought it was very interesting that Iowa decided to release the metrics. I kind of wanted to talk about that because Husker fans are familiar with a situation similar to that. I mean, although it was with the head coach rather than the offensive coordinator. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, this is an article I wanted to get to yesterday. Jaden Rashada. So The Athletic wrote an article saying, and this was the headline, how a 4-star quarterback went from a $13.85 million NIL deal to no NIL deal. We'll talk about that next, coming up on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-clean protein powder ideal for anyone wanting to look better, feel better, or perform better. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in West Elm and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West Elm Street at Price Right Auto.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico hanging out with you as usual. So before we get to that article really quickly, ESPN just released their college baseball broadcasting schedule.
Ooh.
Now, you'll remember that last year, Nebraska was very rarely on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Or on any of their family of networks, whether it was ESPN Plus, ESPN2, whatever it may be, very rarely. Nebraska will appear on the ESPN family of networks one time. And it will come on Sunday, May 14th for a noon first pitch, Penn State at Nebraska. This game will be broadcasted on ESPN2. So mark your calendars. The one time all season long that you're going to be able to see Nebraska in action on the ESPN family of networks will be on Sunday, May 14th, when Penn State comes to Lincoln, and it'll be a noon first pitch on ESPN2. But there's plenty of other games, plenty of other Indiana at Texas will be on at the 3-game series will be on over the course of the February 24th, 25th, and 26th. So but on the Longhorn Network. I forget that's
still a thing.
Yeah, Longhorn Network is still a thing. I forgot about that.
I think it dies when they go to the SEC. I think they have actually said that it's not like the SEC is not. It's because the SEC has their own network. I don't think it's going to follow them to the SEC.
It would make sense. I mean, ESPN probably. I mean, not that they don't care about it. They're probably okay with it dying since they have the SEC network because ESPN has rights with SEC and the Big 12, so it makes the swap easy.
I wonder if they try to keep some sort of keep it for the students to broadcast their own things for the athletic events and just have it. I don't know where you would air it or how it would air, but just kind of a thing for them.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But either way, Sunday, May 14th, Nebraska, Penn State on ESPN2 for Husker baseball. Okay, we got a couple minutes left in the segment. Jaden Rashada, you guys have heard the name quite a bit. We've talked about him. We've hinted and teased this article. This comes from The Athletic and Stuart Mandel. Now, here's what's crazy. And I didn't realize that Jaden Rashada had previously been committed to Miami. But he committed to Miami a couple years ago after an Elite 11 event. And after winning the Elite 11 MVP over multiple top quarterbacks, Rashada secured a $9.5 million name, image, and likeness deal from a Miami booster. Now he then I have to skim through this.
Yeah, why?
Rashada then flipped his commitment from Miami to rival Florida and signed an NIL contract with the Gator Collective. The contract, which was obtained by The Athletic, would have paid him a staggering $13.85 million over the course of his 4 years, starting with a $500,000 payment on December 5th. Upfront.
Right away.
In return for minimal NIL services such as posting on social media and autographing items. Just to once again put things into perspective, the $13.85 million figure exceeded the highest known number for a college player, obviously.
No crap.
And to put things, or to give more context, Pittsburgh Steelers first-round quarterback pick Kenny Pickett, his contract, $14.1 million over 4 years.
He'd be just. You imagine Jaden.
So you're getting $290,000 more.
You imagine
total.
Jaden Rashada getting drafted the second or third round and just I made more in college.
Yeah,
what is it?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now there was a list of things that Rashada was going to have to do. Go ahead.
Do you want it?
Yes.
So, first off, he would get payments that would increase from $250,000 a month as a freshman to $291,666.66 per month as a sophomore, $375,000 a month as a junior, and then it lowers increasingly $195,833.33 per month as a senior. Gotcha. Those are monthly payments.
Yeah,
that's not a year. Those are monthly payments.
That is insane.
And here's the list of things he has to do to get.
Go ahead.
He had to do to get there. He has to live in Gainesville. He has to have at least one branded Twitter post and one branded Instagram post per month. One per month on Twitter, one per month on Instagram. Up to 8 fan engagement events per year. These could include in-person appearances, social media engagements, video conferences, or interviews. None of them would last longer than 2 hours. 8. You can knock that out in the first 3 months.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm going through my head.
I would do it so fast.
I'm sorting it out through my head of how would I operate on this. I'd be like, let's fill it up in the early parts of the year.
Easily. Or do one a month for 8 months.
Yeah.
It's not lasting longer than 2 hours.
2 hours, exactly. I was going to say, it's not like it's an 8 to 5.
And then you have to autograph up to, not past, up to 15 pieces of merchandise per year.
Let me just sign 60 right off the bat.
Honestly, those in-person appearances, sign things while you're there.
Bingo.
Knock them both out.
2 birds with 1 stone. So
you could even not be in person over the phone in your residence in Gainesville that you're not paying for. Sign the stuff, send it out, knock 3 of those out right away.
Now, before we get out of here, and Austin comes in to take over for me, and this is in that article, in mid-January, Rashada did not enroll at Florida as expected. The Gator Collective, that was on the hook for this $13.85 million, had backed off its deal in early December, 2 days after the initial payment of December 5th was due. And on January 17th, a little over a month later, the quarterback was granted a release from his letter of intent. So now it was January 17th. Jaden Rashada is trying to find a new home, and a couple places are coming to the forefront, but also how much NIL is still the conversation here, because this is a guy that was offered $9 million at Miami and then 13.85 at Florida.
Honestly, we could just call it 14.
14. Yeah. Now, what's interesting, he basically had to decide. He narrowed down all of his choices. Did hear from Nebraska, according to reports. Had to narrow down his choices between to TCU and Arizona State. Ends up committing to Arizona State, where his father played in the mid-1990s. What's more interesting, and this is the last thing, Jaden Rashada said there is no NIL deal on the table.
Yeah, Andy Staples of The Athletic, somebody asked him in his comments, said, what's the NIL at Arizona State? And he said, as far as we know, as far as what we've been told, $0.
Yeah. So it's more of a, I guess he may have learned his lesson to maybe not follow the money, but also the whole Florida thing is not his fault.
No.
That's a Florida, that's the collective backing out and saying, listen, we're not going to pay you that initial up front. Maybe, now that we sat back and thought about it, $100,000 payments up front may not be the best way to run a program.
A guy who probably won't see the field in his first year, paying him $250,000 a month.
Just insane.
To practice.
Yeah.
Probably not the best.
But hey, Billy Napier, do whatever you want to do down there, man.
Shouts out to Rashada for getting that money.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. Look,
I would have been happy with 9.
I am not mad at the players for getting money.
Oh, no, not at all. I would have been happy with $9 million from Miami. So let's take our final time out. Austin and Rico will finish out the show coming up next. Also, Super Bowl squares.
I got a couple questions I'll ask you guys in the next segment, so just stay tuned.
Download our app by searching 93 points in the ticket in your apps. Just and touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Coppell is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out all at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer. Wall-to-wall wine and beverage, every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra clean protein powder ideal for anyone wanting to look better, feel better, or perform better. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they're surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get 11 since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Look at him and tell me that's a god.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
He made me in his own image.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back.
You've been in the booth. You've been
Happy
in the
hour.
You've been in the DJ booth. What you been doing?
Hey,
you little chop and screw?
Hey, rest in peace, Mac Miller. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. Welcome back to the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. That familiar voice you're hearing? Yeah, that's Eric Strickland.
You're a wild one.
My guy.
You hear the
back
voice
in the frozen tundra.
You hear the voice.
Yeah, but it's a different hearing.
It's a different vibe.
It's a different hearing.
It's a different vibe.
The voice coming over the stream from much warmer Dallas. It sounds a little bit different. It wasn't warm.
That was the craziest dynamic that I've ever seen. That we were colder than you were. When I was checking in with you, it was like 30s, and you guys were like 35 or something. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
We had a pretty good weekend this last weekend. It was nice. We were at
it's beautiful out.
Me and the kids were outside hitting the ball off the tee, having some fun. But we were talking about Super Bowl squares. We're giving away Super Bowl squares for anybody that wants some Super Bowl squares that's going to join us at Buffalo Wings and Rings during the big game this coming Sunday. We have a whole bunch of prizes to give away, and this is another way that we're going to give them away. So I want to get 6 Super Bowl squares. All right? I'm going to ask, and just one for each, the 6 longest touchdowns in Super Bowl history. The 6 longest touchdowns in Super Bowl history. That is my question for all of you. Each touchdown gets one answer. As soon as a person gets it right, that touchdown comes off the board. So if you have one in mind right now, you better throw it out quickly. And you will get entered in for a Super Bowl square. And the first one goes to Nebraska ball fan, James Harrison. 100-yard interception return in Super Bowl. Ah, man, you're going to make me look at Roman numerals.
James, he waddled all the way down?
He did. He barely made it.
Barely made it. I remember that.
43. XLIII. 43. James Harrison, 100 yards. Look at that. Now we're just going to keep going with this. Also, Nathan. Devin Hester. He had a one. Hold on. I got to get it right. 92 2-yard kickoff return to open the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 41.
Against the Colts.
I know this because you take the L and the X is before the L, so you take 10 away from 50, so that's 40, and then the I at the end is a 1, so 41. They ended up losing that game, sadly. The first matchup between two black head coaches. And this is going to be the first matchup between two black quarterbacks. Somebody's just saying 90-yard return. I need names. Aaron, John Taylor is not on the list. I'm sorry, I named Texter. Devin Hester's already taken. Bradshaw to Swan, no. Bipolar, I need names. You're right. You're right. I need names. Thank you, Nathan, for adding your name into there. Your last name. Cleat, no, it wasn't a run. You got the name right. It wasn't a run though. So I need more names on that.
Wow, that's crazy. You guys are wild.
Guilt nerd, you're finally entered. Musin Muhammad, 85-yard. It wasn't a return, but you got the name right and you got the yards right. 85-yard touchdown reception from Jake Delhomme in Super Bowl 35-8. I got this. See, numbers are easy. Numbers are easy. Nope, no Victor Cruz in here. Very strange. I thought that might have been in here, but apparently it's not in here. Maybe it was it during the Super Bowl or was it just during the playoffs? I don't remember. But Victor Cruz is not in here. Granted, this article was published in 2020, so that was 3 years. Victor Cruz wasn't playing in 2020, I don't think. So that doesn't count. Cleat. Should I give that to him?
He got the quarterback, yeah.
He got the quarterback. He got the way that it was, and he got the yards. Doug Williams, 80-yard touchdown heave to Ricky Sanders in Super Bowl 22. Yeah, Roman numerals. All right, so we're missing...
Bipolar did chime back in with the name.
Did he?
Yep.
All right, so we're just missing one. All right, there you go, Bipolar. So we're missing one. And it's going to... so Cirques got it right, but didn't put the yards.
Oh,
should I give it to him?
Yeah,
he got the name and the way that it was. All right, so Cirques gets the final one. Desmond Howard's 99-yard kickoff return in Super Bowl 31. That's all of them. Thank you guys for playing along. I will add all of your names to the list. If you could send me, everybody that I just mentioned that won, your first and last name so I can add you to the Super Bowl squares. Make sure you join us at Buffalo Wings and Rings this coming Sunday for the big game. And again, the end of the first at halftime, the end of the third, and at the end of the game, whoever has the final numbers, if they're double digits, just the last numbers, and they match up with where your square is, you get yourself a prize. We'll also be giving away some other prizes, I believe, there. But there's a ton of fun things that we're going to be giving away. But yeah, it's going to be a good time when the Chiefs win.
Cool.
Calling your shot.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a great
calling my
game.
shot
Yeah, I'm excited
calling my
about
shot a
it.
little bit. So, okay. Strick, I saw you looking at an article back there. Jim Boeheim, NIL. Not going to ask you about that. Although, Jim Boeheim, look, it's time. It's time, buddy. You're going to have to step away. I'm sorry. Yeah. I love Syracuse. I love Boeheim, but it's time. Go away. So take your 2-3, and get out of here. But NIL, Jaden Rashada, former Florida QB commit. Did you see the stipulations on how he would earn his money?
No, I did not.
Let me
breeze.
Let me read you how this kid would make his $13.85 million if he would have stayed at Florida, if they actually would have paid him. First off, I'll give you how much he was going to make per month. $250,000 a month as a freshman. Hold on. It gets worse. $291,666.66 as a sophomore per month, not over the year, per month. $375,000 as a junior. And then it drops when he's a senior because they're not expecting him to be there for his senior year, hopefully. $195,833.33 as a senior.
That's crazy.
Monthly.
With no stipulations.
No, there are. You want to know his stipulations?
Yeah, let me see.
He has to live in Gainesville. He has to have one branded Twitter post and one branded Instagram post per month. You can get those done the first of the month. Up to 8. One on Twitter and one on Instagram. up to 8 fan engagement events per year.
My goodness.
They could be in-person, social media engagements, so you could just tweet back at somebody, video conference or interviews, and none of those would last longer than 2 hours.
Wow.
You spend an hour and a half out at a roller rink. Good to go.
Go to Rally House for an hour. You're good.
And autograph up to, not over, and not necessarily at this number, autograph up to 15 pieces of merchandise per year.
Only 15?
Not even 15.
I did that.
Up to 15.
I did that as an NBA player and didn't get that kind of money. The freak is going. We almost had to dump.
Well, you're good. I turned quick here.
Dump something.
This is the
That's
workout.
crazy.
Workouts before I turn quick.
Boy, listen, and see, that's the part that I've been talking about. Like that, there's nothing on no return on the other side of that.
Nope.
You could play. You can be Spencer Rattler and still get that. That's what you're saying. Basically,
if they
another AR-15 type.
Yep.
Forgive me. I'm not talking about,
I know what you mean.
You know, you guys know
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson. You can be that. A guy can come in, undercut you, swoop you, beat you, because how much complacency does a young man who is not a professional, doesn't have a professional mentality, hasn't learned how to become a professional with ethic, work, discipline, and you give him that kind of money? What kind of worth ethic do you think he'll have?
For comparison, Kenny Pickett, first round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was somewhere around 14.2.
Yep. 4 year,
So
$14 million
Rashada,
deal.
if he stayed there 3 years and he got drafted in the second or third round, he would have made more at Florida than he would have made as his rookie contract in the NFL.
Facts. And so I think about that too, man. I look at not only that, the money, but I look at how. Okay, here's a good comparison. Right now, what is the issue that Arizona Cardinals have?
They
can't have what? They don't have what?
A quarterback. Because their quarterback.
Well,
no, they have a quarterback, but they don't have a what? A coach, right?
Oh, a coach, yeah.
They don't have a coach.
Well, they don't have a quarterback that knows how to not pick
no
on duty.
one wants, at this point, allegedly, they're having issue because no one wants to deal with the prima donna-ish that comes with Kyler Murray. That's a guy that has just been given a huge bag. That's only a precursor to what's going to happen at the next level below that. You're seeing evidence of that, I think, through him. Because
there's a double
because
XP
there's
weekend.
guys that don't want to. Who's gonna want to work with this guy? And you tell this guy go watch some film. He's like, oh, all right, yeah.
It was like Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
They gave him blank tapes to watch, and then they asked him when he came back, so did you watch? And he goes, oh yeah, I've seen the blitz packages and everything. Like, he ain't watching.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. That's what you're gonna be. That's basically what you're preparing yourself for in those situations. Because everybody doesn't have
the same work ethic.
That work ethic.
But you could have guys who get paid that much and do have great work ethics.
But you should wait till they freaking get on campus. Show me who you are.
Well, as I've said,
and then drop it on me.
As I've said, NIL
backload that.
NIL is supposed to be your name, your face, your likeness of everything. You can't really do that as a incoming freshman. Like, people know kind of who you are because your team is recruiting you, but they don't know really anything about you. The only time that works is name, DeColdis Crawford, AC company, perfect.
Yeah.
But in terms of image and likeness, like, okay, let's say you get here as a freshman, you don't play for 2 years, but you're getting paid, $250,000 a month to practice.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, name, image, and likeness. It's right there in the name. It's your name.
Getting fed grapes and
exactly.
strawberries.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Come on,
But hey, he didn't broker this deal.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him.
The power brokers that be at Florida and whoever is in charge of his finances did that.
If you're
I'm not mad at the kids getting money.
You're a dummy to give that away without stipulations, without anything, what's a good word for it? Like roadblock, like
guardrails.
Any guardrails?
Yeah.
If you do that without guardrails, then you need to go in the tank.
And the only reason that he left is because they
weren't
paying.
Well, how many guys left Texas A&M because
all of them, like
A
the
lot.
entire, like
Yeah.
all of last year's class.
A lot of it to me feels like these NIL collectives get so caught up in stars, right? They're looking at the recruiting rankings more so than treating it like actual business, where, okay, maybe it's good for the business of the university because you get a guy on campus and he could be good, but don't you want to, like you said, Strick, see what the kid is first, and then, hey, he's worth the investment. Now let's pay him.
Yeah.
That's why I love Saban's comment.
Well, yeah. He's like, I'm not
Kick
gonna
rocks.
pay you. What are you doing? Get out of here. I
All
don't
right.
need you.
Get on campus, show me something.
Like it'll even itself out at some point. You're not going to have these $13.85 million deals down the road because you're going to have boosters who realize, oh, maybe we shouldn't pay an incoming freshman who hasn't done anything for us yet all of this money. You'll still get guys who get, a little bit of money, however legal or illegal it is, to come to a school, but you won't see those big money contracts until your junior, senior, your sophomore year if you have a great freshman year. So it's going to be really fun, NIL down the future. And again, I don't blame the kids for getting money. I wish I could have got money when I was in college.
Facts.
That would have been a blast.
I did have some.
No, we're not going to talk about that. Thank you so much for listening to Happy Hour on the Block with these hooligans coming up next. Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the